In the dark, dark tomb there was a dark, dark street, and in the dark, dark street there was a dark, dark office. In the dark, dark office there were some dark, dark stairs, and down the dark, dark stairs there was a dark, dark room, and in the dark, dark room was where the worst wrestling tropes go to die.
Hello, I'm Ross Tweddell from Cultaholic.com, your reigning and defending Cultaholic Heavyweight Champion of the World. I've never lost this. I'm a responsible champion. And welcome to Straight to Hell, the show where my illustrious guest offers up a list of their pet peeves from the world of professional wrestling, and I get to decide which one of those goes down straight to hell as I slur because I've had a beverage. Joining me today, this is the first time we've done this, is Tom Campbell of Cultaholic.com, who of course stole this championship belt, blackmailed us, held us to ransom, bullied us into giving him a job which he still holds today. Tom, how are you doing?
We all laugh about that now, though, don't we?
Do we?
Yeah.
Do we really?
I'm doing great, Ross. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely smashing. I'm feeling a bit overweight. More so than normal, because I've got this £10 of gold
Extra £10
wrapped around my waist. It's like the camera adds £10. I guess that adds 20 since I'm sat here with this. Let's get to know you a bit, Tom, since we don't know you enough already. I've got 3 questions for you, which it'll show the fans at home what kind of a man you are. First of all, your thoughts on the character of Shane McMahon on WWE TV, circa sort of back end of 2016 until the current day.
Certainly current day, far too often. Please back off. Less of him, more of other people.
That's the correct answer. Second of all, your thoughts on the popular beverage, Strongbow Dark Fruits.
Oh, it's a smashing way to end an evening.
That is a
That'll
correct...
be how I end my Friday, no doubt.
And start it. And middle it.
Or middle it as well.
All of them. That is also the correct answer. And third and lastly, your thoughts on dogs.
I love dogs. Little Dachshunds are the best ones.
Yes, they are.
Little chunky dog Dachshunds. I want one of them. I want 10 of them.
Yes,
They're amazing.
The best man alive. Now for the boys and girls who are seeing this illustrious series for the first time ever, Tom will suggest 5 things. We'll have a bit of banter with a capital Richard Keys B. That's a niche reference. And then we'll decide which one goes down, and we'll hit this little buzzer thing here and have a great time and act scared as we descend towards the fiery depths of hell. Tom, your first offering, please, to go straight to hell.
My first offering is, it's the only bit of sort of the in-ring wrestling malarkey that I really am allowed opinion on, and I'm going to put in bad ring announcers. Bad ring announcers. Now, I'm a ring announcer sort of myself when I'm not here, and I see enough indie shows to recognise when a ring announcer is lazy, self-indulgent,
hang on.
Or
everyone involved in wrestling self-indulgent.
Yeah,
we're self-indulgent sat here.
Yeah, there is that, but I see it. I think with ring announcers have a job, and I don't think a lot of ring announcers truly grasp the job that they've got to do, which is they are the conduit between the audience watching and the action in the ring, and their job is to, where they can, help facilitate a story. But away from that, their job is to be hype, to get people into what is going to happen. And I've worked with some brilliant ring announcers over time, but I've also watched some appalling ring announcers. I won't name the company. There is a company.
Go on.
Come on.
It's Christmas.
Oh, it's Christmas. Maybe Christmas I will. Maybe the Christmas do. I'll definitely mention them. But the ring announcer, and they book the same one all the time, and they just stand there with a piece of paper and say, "Coming to the ring, Mark Smith." That's it. That's all they do for the entire thing. Just da. This match is a match for the belt. This was a line they used. This is a match for the belt. What does that even mean? I watched a ring announcer who started the show by saying, "Hi, it's good to be here. I had a bad leg last month, so I couldn't be here, but I'm back now." Introducing first. It's like, what are you doing?
He's the top baby face in the company. He's getting sympathy poured down on him. So give us, who are your inspirations in the ring? We're talking about the person in the ring specifically here.
Inspirational ring announcers. Well, the classic is Howard Finkel, because he was very much the trendsetter.
He's the best, isn't he?
He's an absolute best. Jim Smallman for Progress is phenomenal, because Jim Smallman isn't your common or garden ring announcer, but he brings that event to life every single time. Love watching him work. I'm enjoying the work of Andy Shepherd. I
saw you tweet the other day, because I'm not a regular watcher of NXT UK, but when Mr. Dragunov came out, I made sure to listen for how he pronounced his name, and it was sensational.
Ilya Dragunov. I like Greg Hamilton.
I love Greg Hamilton.
I think he gets that he's a little bit cheesy, but I think that works for him. My favourite Greg Hamilton moment was one that was kind of a bit lost in time. He was announcing NXT UK. He was announcing Trent Seven to the ring. So he'd obviously spoken to Trent backstage and said, "Where am I announcing you from?" And Trent goes, "Oh, I'm from Wolverhampton." So Greg Hamilton goes, "From Wolverhampton," because he obviously heard it being pronounced in a Wolves accent. So he had a good go at a Wolves accent, and I applaud him for that.
I thought Trent Seven was from halfway up Moustache Mountain. Is that where Wolverhampton is?
Moustache Mountain is in Wolverhampton. It's just behind the Banks' Brewery.
That means nothing to me.
Near the Ring Road, near the Molyneux. So those are the guys that I love, and there'll be thousands others that I haven't mentioned. But when a ring announcer is great, they are part of the storyteller and the hype for a wrestling show. And I'm very proud of the work that I do personally at North. It's wrong to be proud of yourself, but I am. But then
it's not wrong to be proud of yourself.
Oh, it's a sin, isn't it?
No, it's not.
In that movie Seven, starring Bradley Pitts.
I sit here in this job and have no pride whatsoever in anything I do. The dick jokes, the impression. There's no pride to be found. So if you're proud of yourself, be proud of yourself.
But I am not proud of the ring announcers that work who literally just can't be bothered to chat to all the wrestlers beforehand, literally even just to go, "I'm your ring announcer for the night." Things like that make a difference. I like to spend every show going up to everybody I'm going to ring announce, go, "Hi, I'm Tom, I'm your ring announcer tonight. This is what I've got for you. Is there anything else you want to add?" I
thought that would have been a given.
I know, that's what I think. But again, I've worked at shows where the ring announcer has just kept his or herself to one side, just has a list of.
I'll have a guess.
No, that's mean. That's mean. But it's a great way of it's a big job to do, and I just couldn't go out there and just say the name in the Ray of the Ring there. You want like a bit of sparkle, a little fighting out of it. Actually, Stevie Aaron taught me the fighting out of.
I mean, if there's a godfather of ring announcing, it's Stevie Aaron.
It's old big Stevie Aaron. It's Stevie Aaron who taught me 2 lines for ring announcing, which is fighting out of instead of from, which gives it a real bit of gravitas. I love using that. And the bar is open, which is a line that I use to this day, and it comes from Stevie Aaron. Love you, Stevie. You're not on the list of bad ring announcers, but there is a list. And you're not on it though. Other people are. No, because it's bad form. It's bad form. But to ring announcers everywhere, just make sure you put the effort in, you put the graft in, because your job is very important. But if you can't be bothered, then you're going straight to hell.
We've got to mention right now, because I saw it on Reddit last week. All Out. Did you see All Out?
Yes.
Did you see the introduction Justin Roberts did for the Escala de la Muerte malarkey? Thoughts and opinions on that?
Loved it.
What side of the fence are you on? Because
a
lot of people are saying, "Wow, that was amazing. The way he made his mouth move and the noises that came out were a fantastic thing." But there's another side of the fence where people are going, "That is Justin Roberts going way too far. Too much of him." I'm on that side of the fence.
You think it was too much?
No, I'm on the good side of the fence
because it's something special. It's a match that comes from a different type of wrestling,
culture.
A different culture of wrestling. So that's Justin Roberts paying homage to that culture.
That's what I agree with. Yeah.
I like the bravery to do stuff like that. It's kind of like a weird way of. It's like Greg Hamilton going from Wolverhampton, weirdly, but nowhere near. Close, but absolutely nowhere near. I loved it. I like Justin Roberts doing the old.
Yeah, I was a big fan. When people can show off, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so.
And speaking of Greg Hamilton, rarely has there been a better ring announcer. When it's a main event and they do the lights come down. Yeah. Greg Hamilton hypes that up. He's fantastic at his job.
It's one of these guys where I think the WWE have had so many different ring announcers through the doors that Greg Hamilton now just feels like he's been there forever.
Yeah.
Which is impressive when, they've had The Fink, Tony Chimmel, Lillian Garcia, Justin Roberts. Like, there's so many other, and probably loads more I haven't mentioned, but Greg Hamilton's probably the boy.
It's a shame they didn't go further with that David Brent documentary. Did you see it on YouTube?
I love that. I'll make time to seek that out. Which is Greg Hamilton, like, being very Brent and going, like, how he gets into the zone for announcing and stuff. Oh, God, that made me love him even more.
Yeah, they need to give these lesser characters on the show more character. That's a different issue for a different day. I need you to name some bad ones. Not from the local level, from the very top. WWE.
Tippity top ones.
WCW. Give us some bad, famous names. Michael Buffer, where's your thoughts on him? Because he had no idea what was going on.
Okay,
There's that famous one where he's announcing Kevin, I think it's Kevin Nash, and he's like, "He is a man of the world, and it's stuff like that, and it's just...
I don't like Buffer. I think Buffer certainly brings an element to it, but whether he doesn't do the research or whether people don't sort of give him the right context for stuff, he comes out with some absolute nonsense. So Buffer I don't like. Now I think I got the right name. David Penza?
The WCW guy. That is the noise he made for everybody's name.
That's it. That's all he does.
Everybody's name went.
Rubbish.
I like David Penza.
Because you've got to at least be able to hear who's coming down of the ring. And if you can't hear it on TV, and you can't... Oh, and also commentators, don't talk over your ring announcers. Never talk over your ring announcers.
I did that.
Honestly, you never should. That's.
I learned that.
Yeah, it's a good...
I wasn't told anything about commentating before I started doing it, and that's why it was so bad.
I'd have seen that. If we'd worked together at that point, I'd have seen you right. I'd have said, look, let Stevie talk. And well, we're on to the races.
Can't overshadow Stevie Aaron.
No.
But I agree. It is a lesser thing of a show, but also it does make a world of difference. And because of that, Tom, and because I'm such a nice guy, going straight to hell. Ah! We're falling down to hell and you're not acting. Ah!
Get to hell.
Looks like you've been down there before, have you?
Oh, maybe. It's a few ex-girlfriends down there. How you doing?
So shock, horror, here on Straight to Hell. We are 1 for 1. Tom, your second offering, please.
Right. It is, I want to send to hell, the formatting of Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. Not the newsletter, because it's every Thursday. It's an incredible insight into the world of wrestling. But my God, it's like, do you know what? It's because a lot. Dave Meltzer packs the newsletter out, and if you don't subscribe to it, you should, because it's a really interesting insight into the world of wrestling. But there's everything in there. There's everything from, like, you'll get like pay-per-view results, buy rates, a nugget of amazing information and insight, house show results. It's like sifting through like a pile of dirt to find a piece of gold some days. And it's like, and if you read it, like, it's all just like, it feels like it's very stream of conscious from Dave Meltzer.
That's what Dave Meltzer is.
He's just a stream of conscious.
In any sort of meet, even on... No, it was...
He was on straight to... He was here, wasn't he?
Because I was expecting him to just be rambling for half an hour, but everything was quite concise and quite orderly, and I was shocked, and I didn't quite know what to do. And so I crapped the bed on that interview, but it's on the YouTube channel anyway. Go and watch it.
I enjoyed the one with Meltzer in
there. But
you find that when you read the newsletter?
Yes, I often skip reading it and just go to Reddit, where the highlights are. Because the good people on Reddit just go... There's the highlight, there's the highlight, there's the highlight. Forget about reading 10,000, 15,000 words. There's your highlights there. And that's often how I do it.
I'm a fan of good formatting. Like, I like things to look neat when you write stuff up.
But on the other side, have you seen Dave's room?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen that picture?
His room basically is a physical embodiment of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Just I would love for chaos with some good stuff in there.
Richard Tubman, who was editing this, please put a picture of Dave Meltzer's room behind us if you can find it, because it's an amazing sight to see, and I have no idea how anybody could work in such an environment.
It's not conducive. I'm not going to bang on about feng shui, but it's not conducive to creativity. Surely,
I like a minimalist approach to everything when it comes to work.
I find and me and the good lady, we had a good clear out at our apartment the other week. You know, because we rock on a bank holiday, and but because like we work long days and we left it for ages, and it was not only it was once we cleaned the whole house, we both went, do you know what? Like, we've been both feeling really down the last couple of weeks, and now we feel great. Like, because we've got a lovely space to live in. I'm even going to, cook something healthy for tea to celebrate. But you do, when you've tidied, you feel better. And Dave, mate, get a cleaner in. Just, Mr. Meltzer, I found these results from Backlash 2006. Do you want them still? The newsletter itself is packed with really good stuff, and I always enjoy a good read on a Thursday. But my God, do I have to just like go, right, the newsletter's out, I'm going to make a coffee, I'm just going to wake up a little bit, like clear my head, and then just focus. Because it's the one bit of focused reading I really have to do.
I think it's a tactic from Dave personally.
To make people read it?
Yes, you have to read every single inch of what he puts his blood, sweat and tears quite literally into every single week to get the nuggets of information you want to see.
I know, and I kind of get that, and I guess if you put in headlines like, here's some juicy gossip about Jonathan Cena, then people are just going to scroll straight to that. I do get that. But I mean, just like little bits of it, little bits in bold or something, little headings, some pictures to break it up. You know, this is the Twitter generation. We get bored after 100 characters. Some, you know, just something, just a, you know, a GIF maybe. Just a little funny GIF. I don't know. You know.
You know what? I'm gonna say no here, Tom.
You're not gonna send it.
I'm not gonna send it to hell. First of all, I think the stream of consciousness is what Dave does better than most people alive today. When Dave starts and he gets going, there's no stopping the guy, and I love that.
Okay.
And second of all, the guy writes like 10 to 15,000 words every single week. Formatting, who cares? 10 to 15,000 words is. With everything else he does on top of that, by the way, it's a monumental, it's a Herculean effort. So I'm going to cut Dave some slack here.
All right.
Get yourself down to IKEA, Dave. Buy a few filing cabinets. That might improve things a little bit.
I'd like to point out that I'm not rubbishing the newsletter, because I love reading the newsletter. I really do. And this is the problem. Everybody has said, like, oh, Tom's such an optimistic guy in a world of dark wrestling fandom. But it's like, so I had to really fight to find 5 things that I'm not happy with. And I had to go, you know what? Just put some headers in the newsletter, mate. Make my life a lot easier.
I'm going to say no. It's escaping. The Wrestling Observer newsletter can fly away to heaven. That's where it belongs.
Slaughtered or salvaged?
So we are 50%, Tom. 50% in, 50% out.
Okay.
Well, like...
Shaking it all about like the Okie
Yeah, and Brexit. That's slightly different. You can't get away from Brexit, can you? No. I'd send Brexit to hell. That's a bit... I'm not getting political. Yeah, there it goes. Bugger off. Next, third one.
Right, now mine is... my third one is to do with what you are adjusting around your personage right now. It's to do with belts. In particular, replica WWE belts on indie shows.
On indie shows?
Yes.
This is interesting.
Now, I know that indie companies may not always be able to afford like a custom belt. So they always, but I'm bored of seeing indie shows across the world where their champion is just holding like the winged eagle belt. Or they're holding like my favourite is the World Heavyweight Championship, the old chunky gold WCW one. I was watching this show before I came in here. I was watching one and it was like, it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's a show being held in Luton. That is not the World Heavyweight Championship.
If WWE aren't using it anymore, fair game, I say. Go get the trademarks and all that legal stuff. If people want to use it, keep the spirit alive.
It's not even like, it's okay, there's an argument that it is probably keeping a bit of the spirit alive, but it's also, for me, it screams a lack of creativity and a bit too much of a markiness from whoever's running the company. And there's a few I've seen where I've been like, the winged eagle belt, that's the heavyweight. I just like a nice custom belt when I'm at an indie show. I feel like I'm a big believer that wrestling is all about the suspension of disbelief. Are you the same? Like, it's the whole idea of...
I want to get invested in these characters.
Wrestling is... Are we sweary on this or not?
No, we're not.
Okay, right.
You've worked here for months.
And then I've not done Straight to Hell before. I don't know whether...
It's the same, we're
Meltzer
PG.
was dropping bombs all the time.
Was he?
I don't know. Wrestling is inherently nonsense.
Yes.
It is inherently nonsense. It's men in pants hitting each other and women in pants hitting each other. That's wrestling. And sometimes it's men and women hitting each other in pants together. And that's fine. But I just always find that if I see, like, and it's a pretty, like, a weird little kink with me. Like, if I see, like, a replica belt and they go, this is our World Heavyweight Championship, it just ruins the suspension of disbelief a bit for me. It's just like, I could buy a world title. Like, some of the best companies, like, well, we've got one. Like, ours is a custom belt.
Hey, the story behind this is not a good advert. Well, this is from Pakistan.
Okay.
It was supposed to arrive about 3 or 4 months before it actually did. So we had to make do without, and then Adam made one out of a letter. And so we tried. Obviously, at the start of this company, we had no money whatsoever. So we had to scrape by. And that's the best we could do. So we're probably not the best advert.
Okay. Like but regardless, you knew not to just buy like a replica world title. From
I'm interested when you say this. Do you mean the official £400, £500 replicas?
Or like cheaper versions, like knockoff versions?
Or the plastic ones? Where
I did see a show where they did have a plastic one.
No, I like
it was
that.
a show round here in the northeast of England.
Name them.
Oh no! But they had like a kids WWE Championship as their belt.
So I was interested, if they are paying the 400, the proper replica belts, why don't you just get one of their own, mate?
I think if you're going to go into the wrestling booking malarkey, if you're going to enter the wrestling game properly, you've got to do it properly. You can't do it half-hearted and half-wittedly. You've got to do it all the way. And if that involves spending a bit of extra money to get a belt that lends a bit of credos to what you do, then brilliant. I think a lot of independent wrestling companies are founded on, right, a guy who runs it, who loves wrestling and wants to hang out with some wrestlers, and his mate who's brilliant on Photoshop. That is the bare bones of British and American independent wrestling. Like, you'll see wrestling companies with amazing posters, and you'll go to the show and it'll be about 12 people there, and it'll be awful. But I think if you're going to do it, spend some money, get a proper belt made. Replica belts at independent wrestling shows.
So to play devil's advocate here,
Devil's avocado.
what would you rather see? A lovely replica WWE Championship that looks the dog's bollocks, or a horrible, when an independent company doesn't have any money and spends a tenner on their own, like, exclusive title and it looks awful? Where would you rather go?
I'm going to go with option C, and if you want to desperately run a company and you can't afford to get a belt made properly, don't have a belt straight away. It's true. North Wrestling, who I'm very proudly work for, they didn't crown a champion until last year, and they've been running for like 2.5 years, maybe more than that. I should know. Just did an anniversary show, can't remember the number of it. But they ran for years without, because again, the guy who runs it, Andrew Bowers, was like, well, we haven't quite got the funds yet to get the belt that we want made, so we're just going to run a really strong wrestling company, and when the time is right, we'll move on with that. We'll invest in a belt and we'll invest in a champion.
What a sensible man.
What a sensible man running a sensible company. It's not that obsession of we need a world champion, we need a good poster designed, you know. And so option C is, if you can't afford to get a custom belt made, you can run a company without. Or do you know what? Mind blowing moment. Don't have a belt. Have something else. I've watched shows where they've had Progress used to have like a staff.
And a shield.
They had a staff and a shield. That's great. Like, it doesn't have to be. There's Riptide in Brighton that just did a tournament for a medallion. And it's a cracking look. It looks like something that was washed up out of the sea, but like in a good way. Like it was something like a piece of Greek mythology that has just been found on the coast. and it's a beautiful piece. And you know what? That was probably cheaper than a custom belt or even a replica WWE belt. And it means so much more. Like, it doesn't have to be a belt. Where is it written that it has to be a belt?
I tell you what, Tom, I started out this point thinking, nah, I like it when naff independent companies have naff titles and it looks very naff, because naff's great. But the passionate argument you've just thrown at me there. Oh! It's down, it's in hell.
Get in the bin.
Sort your game out, independent companies.
Look at Riptide's medallion.
Be like North as well.
Yeah, be more like North.
We are 2, 4, 3. What is number 4, Tom?
Okay. Jim Cornette snitches. Jim Cornette snitches. Not Jim Cornette, because that's low-hanging fruit.
Well, let's take a broad, holistic approach to this point. Where do you stand on Jim Cornette?
The windpipe. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No. Look, Jim. Look, like I firmly believe, as wrestling fans, we should live and let live. We should like what we like and watch what we want to watch. And Jim Cornette is very much against a lot of things in wrestling that kind of expose the business as a whole. Yeah. And you know what? Jim Cornette likes what he likes. So I can't sit here and go, like what you like, and then lambaste Jim Cornette, because that goes against my entire thing. So, like, Jim Cornette is an old school guy, and he knows what works for him, and he knows what he likes, and that's fine, right? What I don't like is when other people get on the case of other people for stuff that they like. That's what bothers me. It's like, there's enough wrestling. We can all watch what we want to watch. There's people who watch this channel that haven't enjoyed me arriving. Quite a few. Thankfully, not the overwhelming majority, because we wouldn't be sat here. But there are some. And to those people, I always say, fine, like, that's okay. There is so much else in the Cultaholic universe that you can go and enjoy that isn't me. And go and do that. It's absolutely fine. And the Jim Cornette snitches thing, it's not me coming at Jim Cornette. But it's coming at the people who will see something that they know Jim Cornette won't like. It might be an Orange Cassidy match. It was a tweet recently from Jordan Grace, where Jordan Grace referred to herself as a performance artist. and people were tagging Jim Cornette in that, and then that's just like, it's like poking a bear, because then like Jim Cornette's going, well, she's wrong, and he said some really
silly bear though, because he came out that particular situation looking very bad indeed.
He looked terrible, but you know what? It probably wouldn't have landed. It wouldn't have been in his radar if people hadn't been tweeting him. It's like, yeah, a dog isn't going to wee on your carpet if you don't like start playing with him and getting him excited and running him up and down the room and stuff like that. You know, and that's what people do. People were deliberately tag Jim Cornette in stuff because they know he won't like it. And it's just, and because Jim is so outspoken and Jim is entitled to his own opinion, as we all are, like Jim Cornette will give his opinion and it normally ends up in a bit of a slanging match, and it normally ends up with a lot of mud being thrown around, and it's just like, if we just not involved him in this, it would have been okay.
Yeah, I think he needs to tone down the way he speaks to folk, mate, Jim Cornette. He's got a massive influence over a lot of people, and some of the things he says about people, about wanting to kill them and stuff, and there should be this, that, and the other should happen to them. Just, remember you're influencing people's...
It's easy just to go, oh, well, it's Cornette being Cornette, but I think that's a cop-out.
It's a gimmick now, isn't it?
It's a cop-out.
I do think with Jim it did start as legitimate, like he's a very traditional guy, but it's just spiraled out of control now, and it's just...
Yeah.
And I get bored of it as well. And obviously that does stem from people going, look, Jim, we want to see what you're going to say. And I've got to say, though, he is entertaining to listen to, but he does go too far sometimes. Yeah,
I mean, he's not my personal... Like, I love him as a... I'm doing...
I would love to have him on here, though.
Oh my God. It's been a 4-hour-long episode. It'd be like when Alex Jones did that podcast that went on for like 5 hours. Jeebus. But yeah, I value the contributions that Jim Cornette made to wrestling. Like, he was an incredible manager during a time in wrestling when voices may have been few and far between. He was an incredible voice, and he's inspired a lot of people. Like, I'm watching a lot of Raw from 1994 at the moment, and he's a big part of that. And he's like a breath of fresh air compared to some of the stuff that's been on there. And like, he works as a broadcaster, and he's actually got like an old school mind on him. But like, when he's in the right frame of mind, he's got a good head on his shoulders. But like lately, it's just been like poking the bear with him.
It does get repetitive as well.
And again, he's like, we're all entitled to like what we like, and it's fine. But it's the people that go out of their way to go, look at this, Jim. What do you think of this, Jim?
And then Jim makes a tit of himself.
Yeah, that's it. So who wins? The person that was called out by Jim, like they say they're not bothered, but we're all bothered when we get nasty comments. We all are. We all go, no, we're not, we're fine, but we all are. And like, they're left feeling nasty. The person who called them out ends up like getting a little bit of like an ego about themselves, like, oh, look what I've caused today. I've contributed to society by being rubbish. And Jim Cornette says something that gets him in a badly formatted Dave Meltzer newsletter where he speaks that turn. So not Jim Cornette. I don't want to send Jim Cornette straight to hell, but the people that snitch weird wrestling stuff to Cornette, they can do one.
You know what? If we were sat here a few years ago and like Cornette's first commentaries on wrestling were just sort of new and fresh, I might have been inclined to say no. But since we're here in 2019 and we seem to see it every week, snitches get stitches.
Oh!
He gets into hell. Raw in hell, snitches. That's sort of a life lesson in general, isn't it?
Yeah, snitches get stitches.
Yeah, to be cool and don't snitch. Wear sunglasses instead.
Be nice. That's just be nice. God, it's easier. So much easier.
We are 3-4-4.
Nice.
3-4-4.
That's a weird formation.
4-4-5. East 5-4. That sort of thing. Let's try and make it 4 out of 5, Tom.
Right. Do you play wrestling video games, Ross?
The modern ones, yes. My first one was Attitude on the PS1.
What a game.
Which is a bad one.
It's great. Head as a hidden character.
That's a nice little touch. But it was a bad game.
Yeah.
I played all the Here Comes the Pain, Know Your Role, SmackDown all the way through until about 2006. Dropped off when I dropped off of wrestling, and then came back with sort of WWE 13 was the first one I got back into.
Okay.
Which was a good one with the Attitude Era mode thing I think it had.
So you might appreciate my final one, which isn't wrestling games at all. It is.
You're a big gamer, we should say before we start.
I'm a bit of a video gamer. Yars. Yes. Well, I'm sort of a populist video gamer. Spent a lot of time playing Crash Nitro Kart lately.
That's a great
Spyro
game.
edition coming out.
I made a fool of myself on the Triple Jump tournament thing we did.
There was a tournament.
Adam Pacini had the controller, turned it backwards and still beat me. I had no idea.
What?
I had no idea about the drifting.
Oh no, with Nitro Kart, the drifting's a big part of it.
I've learned that since buying the game at home. I should have bought the game before the tournament. I would have made it one.
Ah, well, there you go. Well, anyway, my entry straight to hell is the create a wrestler mode in modern wrestling games. Okay.
But they're better than they ever have been.
No, they are more annoying than they ever been. When in the games like during the Attitude era, the Attitude video game era, that is. Games like that, games like WWF WrestleMania 2000, games like No Mercy for the N64, you had a very, very limited amount of customization that you could do, but it was good fun to try and make existing wrestlers because you had to kind of make do with what you had. Now, right, you can customize everything to the point where this is when I realised this was going straight to hell for me. When a few months ago I thought I want to play as Rory Coyle on 2K19 on the video nasty.
That's
the Devil of North.
That's easy. Short back and sides, comb over beard.
No, it's not though, because you customise like eyebrow length, colour of inner eye, nostril flare, and I was just like, I ain't got the energy. So I thought I'll try and make him without going too deep into like how out his eyebrows are, how long his lobes are. I'll just make it basic, and it looked rubbish. It looked awful. Then I went, okay, I've probably got to go in a bit deeper. So then I got a picture of his face, and I was going like nostrils about there. And I did this for about 45 minutes.
Dear.
I had a bit of downtime from when I left my last career for joining here. So I filled it well. And he got to a point after 45 minutes, he went, you know what? I can't be bothered anymore. I cannot be bothered anymore. So I quit, and there is now on my 2K19 just this sad-looking, half-finished Rory Coyle. Just like every time I see it, it's like the robot that my good lady bought me for Christmas in 2017 that I never completed, and it just stares at me.
What kind of robot was it?
It was like a Meccano robot, and bless her, she spent a couple of £100 on it, and I never finished it. And every time I open the airing cupboard to get the broom or the Hoover out, he's there with no legs, and it honestly breaks my heart every single time. And I now have that on 2K19 as I look at this half-baked Rory Coyle.
I tell you what, though,
and I just hang on the end.
It has become, it's a skill now, isn't it? I guess it was kind of a skill when we were young, but now it's an actual people should have degrees in creating superstars in 2K games because, as you said, the detail you have to go into. There was somebody, I forget what they were called. They made Matthew, myself, Jack, and Adam, I think it was, and the version of me, while I was a skinhead, and I've got a tuft of curly mess now, it was amazing how realistic it looked. And it does stem from the fact. That's why I'm shocked that there's not a Rory Cole on there. I thought there would have.
I looked and I couldn't see one.
Because
now we've got like the download bit where people upload their own things, which is great because that's meant I've bolstered my roster without too much effort. Thank you very much to all the very clever people that make those. Happy to jump on Fiverr and just say, look, can you make me a Rory Coyle? I feel like that because I feel like, do you know what? If I was good at that and I was a bit entrepreneurial, I would just say I would put a thing on Fiverr to say any wrestlers you want in 2K20.
It's like those people.
I'll knock them up for you.
You've seen there's an actual trade, people who build flat pack furniture for people who can't.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing, which I used. Because I built myself a coffee table from IKEA, right? And it took me a good 4 hours. And I lost all my confidence. And I bought this massive long TV unit. And I thought, I can't go through that again. I'll pay this man £40 to come into my flat and build this TV stand.
Wow.
Which is a thing I actually did, and I'm ashamed I've just admit that.
Where was it? Where did you hire this guy from?
The internet.
Oh my days.
I gave him a call.
Rich, come do your coffee table.
He was a very nice man. He texted me when he was coming. He's like, I'm on my way. I was like, oh, lovely. Come out.
And he wasn't a murderer.
No, he was just there. He was there for 2 hours. This massive TV unit thing. He built it and he went.
To make him a coffee?
No, I didn't do anything. I sat there and worked.
Oh my God, you didn't even make him a coffee! Don't at least make him a coffee!
I don't think they expect it from blokes, do they?
Of course they do! Whenever anybody comes around to fix anything in my house, I always go, do you want a coffee?
Yeah, but you're nice. I'm an arsehole, me. Top to bottom, I'm a deplorable man.
Do you know what? No, I do not blame you for that, because that's blown my mind, and it's certainly given me some thought about like future projects.
Oh, this coffee table I built though, I just
I've
lost all confidence. It works.
Oh,
but
the one
I built, yeah. I've lost all confidence in that sort.
Oh, there's always pieces missing, isn't there?
Yeah,
There always is when you do
there was
bits
nothing
for
missing. It
yourself.
was perfect. It was just me. I couldn't do it. But anyway,
Not perfect to me.
it stems from that, doesn't it? Ability of somebody else is great at this thing I can't do.
Yeah, I think we live in a society now where I think we're you know, with Brexit goes the way that some people think, and the whole country erupts, we might go back to the bartering system anyway, where we just swap like food and water for trade. So no, what it's like if I've got, what I might do is I might just see how Brexit rolls. I might just stockpile bottles of water and then have it so somebody goes, can I have some water? And I go, yeah, if you can make me Rory Coyle in 2K19, I'll give you a crate of water. Like, I'm happy to pass that skill on to somebody else.
That's fair enough.
But yeah, so I mean, like, I love the fact that it's so customizable, that the guys I've got on my game now are really up to date and they look picture perfect. I love that. But it's, for me personally, as a fan who used to enjoy that end of it, it's too much.
It's taken.
fiddly.
There was something beautiful. Sorry, about how naff creations used to be back in the day, and that's gone now.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
While it is fantastic, it's also taken away some of the magic. And because of that, and because, you know, I as well, I think it was 2K15 maybe, where I tried to create someone like for the first time on this new generation of games. Yeah, I couldn't do it. So
it's too much effort.
Yeah, because of that little thing where bugger you for being good at this thing I'm crap at. Gone to hell.
Yes!
We're 4 for 5.
Oh, there we go.
We're falling down. Tom, it's been a bloody pleasure.
This has been bloody lovely.
Shake my hand. Brother. Is there anything you want to tell us about you that we don't know about you that people might find interesting? Say it down that camera over there.
Anything about me? At Tom Campbell on Twitter. Come say hello.
I was thinking about facts from your life and stuff.
Oh, really?
Like getting to know you a bit at the start was crap for me.
Okay, well, I'll give you 3. It'll come as no surprise to some detractors. I used to be a local radio presenter. I'm originally from the West Midlands, which is why I do a really good impression of Dave Mastiff. And I am Noddy Holder from Slade. It's my second uncle twice removed.
How the hell does that work?
He is my dad's sister's husband's sister's husband.
Sister's husband?
No blood relation. But
Sister's husband.
Yeah, so like my uncle, but not a blood uncle.
So in-law.
Like, yeah, kind of.
Or in-law.
Step thing. But I told him, and he didn't know. And I said, you owe me a load of back Christmas presents. He went, oh, I don't think so, mate.
You get your Ford Transit. Remember that advert from back in the day? I used to love that.
You can say your faces. I'll have a pint of Banksy's.
Plug things that you have to plug.
Cultaholic Daily News Podcast. We do a podcast every single morning on the Cultaholic podcast feed. If you haven't got time to look at Cultaholic with your eyes, you can look at it with your ears instead. Wrestling Curiosities every Sunday. I've started a whole load of wrestling documentary podcasts about some of the weird and wonderful things in wrestling. Stuff like, do you know there was a wrestling match in the Bible, Ross?
Was there?
There was indeed, and we do a podcast all about it.
Was that against Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon?
No, this was the warm-up match for God. This is God's warm-up match. It's in the Bible against Jacob. We do a lot of random stuff like that. Desert Island Graps every Wednesday, where I ask wrestlers to choose 3 wrestling matches that they take on a desert island. You know how this is Nudge Nudge Wink Wink Room 101? Mm-hmm. That's Nudge Nudge Wink Wink Desert Island Discs.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Look at TV, take the popular stuff, and make it your own.
That's what we do. Cultaholic Classic Raw Review. We watch old episodes of Raw and well, I think by the time this is out, it would have been started. Cultaholic Classic SmackDown Review with Matthew Gregg and myself, where we'll just watch old episodes of SmackDown. That's all my things a plug. I'd like a Daxon at some point and somebody to pay to make a Rory Coyle on 2K19. That'd be grand, thank you.
You can apply by looking at Tom's Twitter, which is found at
Tom Campbell. It's got a blue tick and everything.
There we go. That's the latest Straight to Hell done. News on the future of Straight to Hell. It's going to be not monthly anymore, but we're going to start doing series.
Ooh.
Twice a year, perhaps. So you'll get 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, and it'll happen twice a year.
That's
Haven't
exciting.
quite worked it out. But yeah, look out for them coming. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow us on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. And if you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Hit subscribe and join us